Alright, part three. The first two parts I covered the Black Lives Matter movement. I covered the Speaking Out movement. I covered Washington, D.C. wanting to become the 51st state to change, obvious changing flags because they'd have to. They'd claim they had a star, but then things would come up and they'd change it. Like I said, probably be like the UN flag, which is also a flat Earth flag if you pay attention to any of that. But anyway, then I started to talk about who funds all this. And if you do your research, severely do your research, the people funded World War One and World War Two were the Rothschild family. They funded both the so-called Allied troops, which I'll hit on later, and Adolf Hitler in Germany. Not popular knowledge, but still, it is what it is. Uh, so, who's funding what's going on now? Well, let's do a little history lesson. The Council of Foreign Affairs started in before World War II started. And then during World War II, or shortly after, the United Nations was born. In 1974, in the same year, the Bilderberg Group was started along with the Trilateral Commissions, both started by David Rockefeller. So the Rockefeller family and the Rothschild family has funded every major and minor war in our country's history, most likely our world's history. And then you get the so-called Allied troops. Let's hit on that real quick because England, um, something baffles me about England, and well, you take it for what it is. We supposedly broke away from England for religious freedom. Okay, remember that religious freedom. Then we fought a revolutionary war against England. We supposedly won. Emphasis on the supposedly thing because now we care about the royal family, and now the Duchess of York is Meghan Markle, who is an American actress, a part black female, and in the royal family. That shouldn't be, but it is, and everybody just accepts it blindly. And her daddy is in the Jewish hierarchy, so therefore that involves Israel. And speaking of which, Israel sunk the USS Liberty in 1967 and blamed our president, Israel, and Winston Churchill blamed France when Israel done it and knew they done it, and that wasn't the first nor the last time Israel's done something to sabotage and or kill somebody in this country. So, it doesn't take a mathematician to figure out who is funding these things. The United Nations is made up of mostly Jewish people and Muslims. We've spent 5 decades in the Middle East, and supposedly they're poor, they need democracy, blah blah blah. Well, Saudi Arabia is one of the richest countries in the world, thanks to what we've done, the opium fields there. Uh, and we have an opiate addiction in this country, go figure. And now we got tons of Muslims in the government, which should be illegal. There's you're supposed to be legally in this country to be in the government, but well, we have illegals in government, we have everything. So anyway, and we've all let this go out of control because when they need to divert your attention, it's men wronged women, it's whites wrong blacks. It's wow, there's aliens now. Now supposedly the government believes in aliens to all to divert your attention. And so you won't know what's going on. They work you like dogs. And then there's Shovid, again, SHOW-VID 19, not COVID, not coronavirus. This is all a show. Yes, it's a real virus, but it's no more contagious than the actual flu, which kills more people a season than any number they could come up with for this COVID 19. That's facts. And now they're planning a second wave of it. Big deal. Uh, People are out of work. People are losing jobs daily. You're forced to wear masks like little Muslim people. You're forced to stay 6 feet apart, and that number is ironic, isn't it? That's the same number of feet they bury people. It's amazing where they got that number. And if you think about it, a lot of people may think this social distancing bullshit and the mass is going to end. It's never going to end. Because one of the rules of control is making chaos the new normal. And it's sad, but it's true. Look at what's happening now. Chaos. COVID 19. And now people have made wearing masks a fashionable trend. They Social distancing has become cool. They make damn reality shows about social distancing. They've made it cool. So chaos has become the new normal. Yet there's an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation where LeVar Burton's character Geordi LaForge is brainwashed by Romulans, and the when they're doing this, when they're showing him the horrific sights, when his body adjusts to it, they just amp up the horrific sights to brainwash people. Yes, that's a fictional show, but what's happening in reality? They give you a horror story. Oh, COVID 19 has killed blah 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 people, and now that's spiking again when places are opening. Why are they doing this? Well, when you got used to COVID, they killed or had some black man named George Floyd die, and they ramped up. They not only got COVID 19, but now they got the Black Lives Matter movement tearing down stuff. They got the speaking out women hating guys, costing them their jobs and their careers and everything. So they've got three horror things going on at once. Now Washington D.C. wants to be the 51st state. So they're brainwashing you, and they have been for decades. They make you believe they landed on the moon, and you openly believe that. But yet, Apollo 11, they show tire tracks on the moon, the American flag's waving in the breeze, and there's a shadow. Where'd the shadow come from? What? How's the wind blowing on the moon to blow the flag? And where'd the tire tracks come from if their vehicle wasn't near that area? Just a few things. Plus, there is no stars in the background of the picture. There's supposed to be stars in space. Where are they? Did they just blink out while the picture was taken? Okay. So we have our culprit, which is the Rothschild family, being Rockefellers, Bilderberg Group, Trilateral Commission, Council of Foreign Affairs, Israel, the United Nations, Saudi, that evil royal family who I could go on for days about. By the way, every U.S. president, except one in United States history, is related to the royal family. Every president except one. That includes Barack Obama, even though he's part black. Every president except one. That one is Martin Van Buren because he's of Dutch descent. The royal family's evils go back centuries. And it's amazing how we worship England now, but yet centuries ago we supposedly broke away from them and fought a war that people don't even talk about anymore. In history class, what do you learn? You learn of the Holocaust, which was fake, Adolf Hitler and the Nazis, and slavery. There's a hell of a lot more to history than those three things. Was slavery real? Yeah, slavery is still ongoing with white people, with black people, with children. Who was the first slaves on earth? White people. Were black people slaves? Yeah. Uh, Hollywood beats you over the head with it constantly. And plus, we're supposed to have social distancing and wear masks. How are movies still being made and TV shows and stuff? Food for thought. Anyway, but there's more to history than slavery. Adolf Hitler and the Nazis. I'll touch on that here in a minute too. And the Holocaust, which in 1919, the Jewish people marched on New York City in this country and said 6 million Jews were killed. Well, they must have tape recorded that because when in World War II they said during the Holocaust 6 million Jews were killed. Same 6 million number. And same time, same bat channel basically. And uh, then for years, tons more Holocaust survivors pop up. And who exactly owns basically planet Earth? Jewish people. We give Israel $5 billion a year above board uh, for absolutely nothing, and then most of our government has dual citizenship to Israel, so how many billions do they get a year from us for absolutely nothing, except they once in a while destroy our ships and kill people. So, as you see, there's a lot going on in this world that you don't know about. There's a lot I don't know about. I'll admit fully. I'm still learning more and more every day. If you quit learning, you might as well be dead. And I hate to say it that way, but that's the way it is. And people like Colin Kaepernick and Bubba Wallace and people start this Me Too movement like Ashley Judd and Alyssa Milano are just pawns. They're just idiots. I mean, we have one running for president now, Joe Biden, who's an idiot. I'm not, before you get on me, I'm not pro or against Donald Trump. I could care less. I think he's part of the problem, whether he's in on it or his name's just a lightning rod and he argues with the people. But Joe Biden's an idiot. He's a lot like Jimmy Carter was, who the Trilateral Commission's owned, which they own basically every president. And most presidents are in the Trilateral Commission, not while they're president, that's one of the rules, but a lot of people in the Trilateral Commission are in the president's cabinet. That's why they took the pot shot at Reagan, and because he was posed them, and then after that happened, boom, tons of people in the Tri-Commissions are on his cabinet. And things you don't know. Also, Reagan, speaking of him, knew about the national debt, that fake system to keep you enslaved in the economy. He knew that every dollar printed is like $9 in debt. And he said openly, what the people don't know won't hurt them. So, there's your just the things. The Jewish people and the Muslims and the Tri-Commission, Bilderberg Group, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and a few others along with the royal family own you. We're all slaves, and you need to learn more about it. I'll make another video very soon. Until then, try learning, try waking up. It's not black versus white, it's not women versus men. It is us against everyone to try to help our world and to try to help our nation. We don't need the United Nations. We don't need all these other groups, including the CIA, which is against us, and the FBI. Wake up, people.